Okay then, because we do send most of our new clients, um, we do start most of their domain names, their URLs on GoDaddy, but we spend a little bit more time talking about GoDaddy in detail. We're not going to be starting a new account today, so that means some screens we're not going to be able to see, but we'll just talk about them. Because as I put in the description here of the video, the process is pretty simple for starting things up. So I'm just going to go into my account, which is that would happen after you set the account up, but it would pretty much be the same. You would be out here, you would put in the name of the domain that you hope to capture. You would put in all of the client's information. If you're not going to pay for the URL yourself, you put in all of the client's information, but then when it comes time to pay, you would put in a payment process, and then of course you would remove that. You wouldn't leave that in there, so that just that one bill would go through, and you would do that after the client invoices after the client's invoice has been accepted and paid, so that money would actually be in your account already. And then you would have an account, and it would have a customer number, which is very important, and a PIN number, which is very important, and that you would give the client. But I always kind of keep the customer number and PIN number. The customer can change the PIN number at any time. They cannot change the customer number. That will remain the same. But without the PIN number, you can never get back into that account without a lot of trouble. So you want to make sure that the customer gets that. But in any case, I'm going to view it as if it were just a one person account with one URL in it, and you'll see a screen that looks something like this, and you can see that you can do different things in here. It's pretty profile general. It's like most any dashboard would look, and any products that you have or services that you have would be in here. We're particularly looking at domains because I typically don't purchase anything else from the vendor, because everything else, of course, you have over on your DonPaul server, but that doesn't mean you can't purchase other things. You can if you want to. So we're just going to look at one URL in here. We're going to pretend that all these other URLs aren't here. And what can you do? If you are going to renew, you're going to be very careful about this, because they're always going to try to make you put in some kind of automated renewal thing, and all you have to do is look on the screen very carefully to avoid that. If you are going to make the payment, make sure that you're paying only for 1 year, or however many years you want to. I think you can pay for 99 years, but I usually do it whatever the client gives me money for if I'm going through my account. If you've set it up for the client, then after that one setup that you do, then all of this information goes to them. You never see this anymore. So this would only be pertaining to the URLs that you have an account for and that you are paying for. But when you first set up the account, you're going to need to change the DNS. So when you come in and you click on Manage DNS, it's going to ask you to sign in, and you're going to want to the screen is very intuitive. It's going to take you right over to what you need to do, and most of the time you need to change the name server. You need to change the name server. Okay? And the records are saying that DNS records cannot be shown because it isn't being managed by us. It means it isn't being managed by GoDaddy, being managed by DonPaul at this time. And when it says change name servers, that means this is the DonPaul server. This is where this URL is pointing. So once you set up a client, same thing, you would go in and point the name server to wherever that customer's website is going to be. If it's going to be on Weebly, you will have an address for that. If it's going to be on DonPaul, you would have an address for that. Wherever the actual pictures, words, pages are going to be that associates with that domain name, you're going to change that, and that will make everything work, in that way. You only have to do that one time, unless you are changing everything again. That's a one-time thing, and it takes anywhere from almost immediately to up to 36, 72 hours. It all depends. I've never seen it take any more than an hour myself. but it'll show you when you go in here and try to change. It'll tell you that it might take a while for it to change. So there you are with the settings. Let's look at what else you might want to do in here. Account administrators, you would have set this up when you purchased the customer's URL. This is one of my URLs, so I didn't go through this, but you would have set this up and you can put the correct people in here. You wouldn't put yourself in here unless you were going to administer the client's account. But you can always go back in and change this as long as you have the username or the account number and the password and the PIN. Okay? And GoDaddy has some great service. So as long as you have the PIN and access, they will assist you. Talk to you in the next video.